Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Wishing you a happy Tamil New Year today. New Year celebrations all around the world, and according to all the different calendars, Tamil, Chinese, Julian, different times, different places, different cultures. But there's always one aspect of New Year's that's true in every culture. And that's the notion of renewal, of beginning again, letting go of the past, stepping into here now. In order to truly step into change, to truly renew and begin again, we have to put down the past. We have to leave the future alone because it's imaginary. No matter what we feel like it will be, no matter what we think we know, the future is never manifesting the way that we imagine it will manifest. So in order to really experience renewal in your life, in this moment, you have to step fully, directly into here now, this moment, and this moment, and this moment, so that your recognition becomes the constant realization that which is aware is here now. It's always here now. Leave the past alone. Surrender the future. To whatever comes. There really is only one thing you know for sure, that you can be certain about. And that is, I am aware, here now. You all know this. but you forget. You think you have to fix something. There is a problem to solve. Somewhere to go. Someone you are becoming. Something you need to change. And in doing this, you miss what's here now, what's right in front of you. It's only in here now, as being consciousness, as awareness itself, that the true seeds of happiness are sown. There's nothing in your past which renewed will make you happy. There's nothing in an imaginary future that will fulfill all your desires and all your wants and needs. The only moment you have to be happy is this one. The question, who am I? What am I? What is aware here? Points you toward this moment, this recognition that you are here now. If you know fully and deeply that you are here now, I am here, I am aware, very simple. Then you are present for whatever shows up. There is a wisdom in this moment, but if you aren't here and you're not present for it, you don't see it. If you're dwelling in the past, projecting to the future, here passes you by. You all know this, you've seen it, where you've been lost in thought, in some projection, in some memory, for a few minutes, or an hour, or a day, or a week, or a year. And suddenly you realize, I missed most of that time. So the inquiry is a tool for bringing yourself back to your innate wisdom, to finding in your own heart that the source of love, happiness, compassion, joy lies there within you. And it actually is this sense of you that interferes with this constant recognition that you are aware, and in this awareness, there is happiness. As soon as the mind takes up the story of me, grasps or clings at something it imagines to be mine, awareness of the moment, of what is here, of innate wisdom, of love, compassion, is veiled. This is the way in which the mind, which is tied to an image of me and mine, stops us from experiencing, perceiving, and knowing directly, I am that which is aware, and in this awareness, there is being, consciousness. There is bliss, happiness, love, devotion, kindness, compassion. These are not your characteristics, but you all have them because they are the characteristics of awakened mind. They're not something you need to cultivate. They're something you need to realize. That if you are here, now, ever present, eternally present as being consciousness, then that is your nature. Love, compassion, kindness, wisdom, knowing. Not something you become, something you are. And no amount of conditioning, coming and going, rising and falling, veiling this truth, changes that. Knowing this, you can accept fully everything that comes to you as a consequence of conditioning or karma. Knowing I am not that. I am before that. That which is aware is before that. Before this story of me and mine, I am. This is the one thing you know. Here now, in this moment, you know, if you look right now, I am. Knowing I am, here now, in this moment, rest. Relax. Life itself continues on, and you are here, dancing in the dance. Sometimes you're dancing along with the rhythm. Sometimes you're stumbling, but the dance goes on. Come back to here. Come back to now. Know yourself as being consciousness and bliss. Of course, I should make it clear that the feeling you may have while engaging in this type of inquiry is a feeling of constant failure. You might be familiar with it. But you know, this is a good thing. It's a good sign. Whenever you feel the idea of me, the idea of mine, my life, my plans, my wants, my needs, my desires, whenever you feel the collapse of that, you're going in the right direction. What we call failure is just the recognition that ego is trying to work its way in the world again, and the world is not cooperating. But in a way, it is, isn't it? It's just redirecting us away from some story of me, some desire, some plan we have, some grasping at mine. It's just redirecting us, trying to point us away from the external and trying to get us to ask, what is aware here? Am I aware? Or am I distracted by something else in body, mind, or world? This is a blessing to notice you are distracted, have been distracted. Because at the moment you recognize you are distracted or you were distracted, you are clear. Isn't it true? As soon as you know, I was distracted, I was carried away. Now you're free of it. You are clear. Once again, you know, but now I am here. Relax, rest, let life show you whatever the next step in the dance is. You don't need to know. It's a little scary not knowing, but you don't need to know. Whatever you need is being offered to you now. Suspend your judgment about what is in front of you at this moment. Wait and see. Remain aware. What is this? Until you know beyond a doubt, all of this is myself. What is here is to my benefit. It may not be pleasant. It may be supremely pleasant. But whatever it is, it's here for my benefit. You have already stepped onto the path of awakened being. Now just take the steps. Don't discuss every single step in your mind. The mind will trap you there. You are here now as being consciousness. You are free. If you get caught somewhere, come back. Am I aware? Yes? Good. Rest. You are here. This is the essence of inquiry. It's not a mental process. It's a simple recognition that you, not as a personality, as an ego, but as awareness itself, are here. Make this enough and see what happens. So let's take a few minutes, and if you have any doubt, let's remove it. Namaste.
Namaste. I think the biggest thing for myself that's coming up at the moment is finding myself for the first time in my life being so deeply present that sometimes my actions or the things that are presenting themselves and unfolding in front of me that I'm surrendering into could potentially affect, harm, or cause pain for someone else. And I'm someone that has always sort of led with a moral compass
Yes.
and chosen to make decisions and sometimes stop myself from acting on impulse because I haven't wanted to create that circumstance for someone else.
Yes.
So in the moment, it feels really beautiful and I'm feeling very present and the heart is opening. And then what happens sort of after is sometimes the fear, the shame, the guilt then becomes really, really present. And it's then either taking me into the future of like, what happens if this happens, or brings me back to the moment of like, was that presence? Am I doing the right thing? So that's very much like where my ego and is kind of going, and I'm finding it really hard to break free from that because in the moment, these experiences are blissful, they are beautiful. There's every single cell of my body that is like, this is happening divinely, this is meant to be playing out, and so surrender. But yeah, the fear is like,
Perfect. So when you say that you are in the moment and you're responding spontaneously, what's your sense? Is this spontaneous arising coming out of mind, out of some story of yourself, of me? Or is it coming out of your wisdom nature?
it feels like wisdom.
Yes. You see, wisdom nature doesn't just take into consideration what your story is about what might happen, what the consequences might be, what harm you might do. Wisdom nature, beyond mind, is taking into consideration the totality of the experience. This means not only your needs in the moment, but the needs of the other, apparent other, of others who might be around. All of those apparent others are feeding something into this moment of experience. It's not entirely dependent upon what your version of the moment is. So I would encourage you to trust the moment and understand the not knowing quality of every moment. Because in a way, what you're describing is, from an ego position, a way in which you've navigated the world, in which you've kept yourself safe and appeared to keep other people safe from your outrageous personality or whatever. And that's not trustworthy. That's that projected image, me, mine. If you say or do something that causes another to reflect on something else later, become upset, become sad, become angry with you. This was what needed to happen. And this was what you were masking against and defending against. And you're not giving that opportunity for that to come into the space of awareness by being so protective of this self-image that you have. It's been my experience that the more you remain as silence, as being, consciousness, the more likely it is you're going to say something which is going to disturb someone. It takes quite some time both to accept that about yourself, that you are going to say something that's going to disturb someone, especially if it's someone you love or you're close to, or you have some kind of interest in. But at the same time, over time, you realize that you cannot not allow what needs to rise. That if you have an investment in some self-image, you cannot serve truth. You simply can't, because you're always protecting the self-image. So if your desire, intention is to serve truth, then trust. There are always unintended consequences, but all unintended consequences are not bad. You simply don't know what the result of them is. And you may someday, that person, those people that you think, oh, what did I do? What did I say? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. You see them a month later, 6 months later, a year later, and they say, oh, thank you. That conversation redirected my life, turned me back toward wisdom mind. But what you remember is what you saw externally, and that maybe you experienced as a difficult moment. With time, this all passes. Trust that you are going in the direction that you are intended to go in, if there is a direction. You're here now, and in this here nowness, there is truth, being, consciousness, eternity. You are unborn, undying consciousness. Where is the space for this little me? This little me is just the one little speck over here in the corner of this vast awareness. So drop your concern about her. She's fine. You know it. Trust.
What to do with emotions arising?
Please take that. What to do with?
What to do with emotions arising? Actually, I felt connected to the situation you were describing, kind of saying something or doing something that people don't like, and experience that especially, particularly, I am hurt the most when I am convinced I am behaving out of um, impulse which is arising from the pure place. And people don't understand and they interpret that I behave like egoistically or something like this. And when they are angry, when they are sad, I kind of become angry at them. And what to do with that? to let go, to observe. I don't know.
In the moment that it's happening, philosophically we can say let go. Yeah, but whatever's there is there because there is something that needs to be understood by you, but not understood by the mind. My suggestion is to learn to stand in these difficult emotions, but not take them personally. These are not mine. These are difficult. So there's not an element of denial. There's an element of recognition. This is difficult. This is also not mine. It is not me. This is the circumstance, which I don't, as I said to her, I don't fully understand this. Why? Because you are not in control. If you are in action with other beings, there's an element of the karmic relationship between all those beings which you have no access to, which is playing out. You don't know what is being said to you, what you are saying, what you are experiencing. You don't actually know what is yours and what is theirs. Just be willing to be in the dance and keep quiet as much as possible. So this means stand in the middle of whatever the experience is, but also acknowledge this is not mine. This is not me. This does not define me. That's what I mean by this is not me. This does not define me. Yeah, that's enough.
And when there is this difficult, like heavy feelings in the body, what to do? How to, like, I don't know, overcome?
Stand still. Don't overcome. This idea that I have to solve the problem, overcome something, change something, make it different, save everybody, make everybody feel better, make myself feel better. This is the root of identity. This is not wisdom self. This is the root of identity. What we are doing here is unraveling that identity. So, know what's here. Don't run from it, but also don't run toward it. Keep still as much as possible within yourself. You do this by noticing this emotion is here, this thought is here, this difficulty is here, but I am not that. I am that which is watching this. This is not an easy thing to do in the beginning, especially if what you're dealing with is a difficult emotion like anger. Or sadness because you made a fool out of yourself or whatever. You feel as though you harmed someone else. But none of that story is who you really are. This is part of the process of what you need to look at, what you need to see, what needs to be recognized. But there is no doer to change anything. You simply don't know why things have arisen the way they have. The best remedy is to keep quiet within yourself, observing, watching, experiencing, feeling, until it subsides. Because the one thing you can be sure of is that you know that anything that arises only has a duration of a certain period of time, and then it falls. Nothing that rises in mind, body, or experience remains forever. These are all the things which are coming and going. Who are you? Are you what is coming and going? Label it any way you want. Joy, happiness, anger, frustration, sadness. Are you those things? Or are you what's aware of those things? Those emotions, those difficulties? If you know yourself to be that which is aware, what's coming and going is simply coming and going. It can be challenging at moments, But it is not an identity you assume. Your identity is in being, consciousness. This is the foundation of inquiry. I've said this very simply and very quickly. You know, it looks like this, this, and this, because this is easy to point to and say, it's like this, this, and this. It's very simple, right? This, this, and this. Do this and don't do that. It looks very, very simple. But the one thing that we all know is it's not easy. We have to have some foundation and some stability. So when these difficult moments are arising, this is the moment of practice, we can say, the moment of inquiry. It's not that we stop what we're doing and we immediately go into inquiry. It's just that we stop and observe initially. Stand in the difficulty, stand in the moment and observe. Don't be so keen to do something with it, make something out of it, turn it into something, accept something, reject something. Simply stand still. Watch. See what is really unfolding here. Ultimately, you come to see your own wisdom. And the momentum of these kinds of difficult emotions, you mentioned like anger and so on, the momentum of these kinds of emotions, because it's built into a deep kind of conditioning and a deep identification with either I am that or I don't like it when I think I'm that. There's a deep identification going on. So the momentum of this can take some time. So that's why we have to just keep coming back to this still point, being there with this question, this recognition. Who am I? Noticing what is aware here now is aware of this. This is what I am. Not the object, the awareness itself. So this perception, this new way of perceiving will change us. So we have to be willing to accept this change, to embrace this change, to want this change, but ultimately to know that what we're doing is we're not really changing anything. We're simply going back to recognizing who we are. Because I don't want you to get involved in the game of you have a problem that you have to solve and you have to do something, then you have to change who you are. You have to change your lifestyle, change where you live. You know, all of that is a distraction from you recognizing and realizing you are here now. Are you not? You are here. Yes?
But it seems there is a thought that I have to feel very well if like I recognize myself, like
Why?
I have to feel like wide open, like loving and all the rest.
Yeah, this is just another illusion that the mind is putting up in trying to insist that you are not awake. If you are awake, you will feel X, Y, and Z. You will know X, Y, and Z. It'll be like this, that, and the other. Huh? This is just an indication that you have traded your former belief about your happiness is going to be in the world for a belief that your happiness is going to be on your spiritual path. You see? It's just another belief system. What if you don't believe anything? What if you are simply here now, radically here now? Huh? If I say to you, are you aware?
Yes.
Yes.
But I am not happy.
Yes, no, maybe that may be true that this I is not happy in this moment. But this I is not the I of the self. This I is the I of the ego. I am not happy, meaning some aspect of this body-mind or world, but body-mind has this perception based in the momentum of conditioning that I, as a me, am not happy. So, does anyone here have a guarantee that you will be happy? Have you ever had that? I make light of it, but understand that true happiness is not even in the belief that this me can be happy. It simply isn't. But when you turn away from me and go toward what is aware through the question, or who am I, or what am I, or am I aware? As you keep turning toward that source and asking, what is this? What is the source of my experience? The interesting thing is, you find the happiness that you were looking for in the body mind, but you still have a body mind. So this happiness that you feel is transcendent to the experience of body mind. It does not mean that your body will not get sick, that your mind will not be disturbed, that your emotions may not flare from time to time. That may still happen because there's a momentum to that kind of conditioning. But each time you return to awareness itself, that which is aware is here now, and you deeply seat yourself in that position, you make a little chop at the root of that conditioning, and eventually that tree falls, because even small nicks with a small hatchet on a big tree eventually cause that tree to come down. So I'm not saying it will happen quickly. It may, but it will happen. Not because I say so, but because you're sitting here. This is an indication of your commitment to realizing who you are in this life. Have some faith in that commitment. Whatever the mind focuses on across many weeks, months, years, or decades eventually comes to fruition. Mind is powerful in that way. But this is also why we don't want to focus on me as a mind. If I accept that what this mind says is who I am, I'm limited by that. So I encourage you to know that you are aware under every circumstance, and then make no judgment about it, whatever the circumstance is. You don't need to get rid of something. You don't need to fix something. You don't need to problem solve. You don't need to do something. You do need to remain aware. In this vast space of awareness, if there's a solution that needs to happen to a particular problem, or there's a relationship that needs to turn itself or right itself in some way, it will. Through silence, through standing still.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a question regarding, quite practical, regarding discipline and presence. So you were talking about the importance of being present in every moment. That's like the main goal. But let's say in our daily life we have some,
Can I stop you there for a second?
well, goal is not the right word maybe, but okay.
Yeah, I just want to clarify for everyone. When I talk about presence, I'm talking about being.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about a me who is being present.
Mhm.
This is also an aspect of spiritual practice, especially in places like the Buddhist tradition. There is a me who must remain mindful and present in every moment. That is not what I'm talking about, because that maintains the subject-object relationship. There is a me who is doing something with something. What I am talking about is this here-nowness, which has as its major characteristic, you can say, a natural presence. But there is not a me who is remaining mindful or present. Okay,
Okay, but our way to perceive it is related with me, right?
Mhm.
And let's say that during our daily life we have some things that we are supposed to do because they are good for us in a discipline perspective. Let's say our meditation, our practice, or it can be our work.
Okay.
And we recognize in that moment it is the me, but I guess it's also the awareness that we are not really there. We are supposed to do this task, but we know that even if we try, we are not fully present. And instead, maybe if we do something for the first time, we go do something we never did, it's easier to be present than in the moment, right? In this moment in which you kind of know that you cannot be fully there, but you're supposed to do that, is it meaningful to still do, let's say, your meditation or your practice or your work, even though you're not fully there? Or it would be better than to just say, okay, I can't?
The way to approach it is more around allowing things to go on the way that they go on without interference from me.
Mm.
Hmm? If you say, I'm not really there, you're not referring to awareness, you're referring to the me-ness.
You're referring to me. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. So, if things are going on and they're going on adequately, and there is no need of me, very good. Don't go looking for me. This me is the one who says, I need to be practicing in the middle of this. I need to be, right? This is the I subject that I was talking about. Subject, object. You are suggesting that you need to interject this I back into the natural activity, whether it's work, meditation, or whatever, in order to know that it's happening. I'm suggesting that's not necessary. Just let it go on.
Mm. And if you realize that you often end up in thoughts,
Who is the thinker? This is the simplest way to come back into the inquiry. Don't argue with the thoughts or judge yourself because you realize you've been distracted by thoughts for some period of time. As soon as you ask the question, who is the thinker? The answer naturally comes, I am. And then the inquiry comes again. Who is this I? Now you're not caught up in some line of thinking. You're also not judging the body-mind experience as being wrong or incorrect because you got distracted by thought. You are now here again in awareness as being consciousness. I am here. I was lost. Now I'm back. Good. Now I'm back. This is the emphasis, not I was lost. As soon as I realize, you don't even have to go through this whole, I was just giving you a chain of thoughts that you can do. You don't actually have to go through all of that. You can simply say, I was lost. If you acknowledge, know from your wisdom heart that in that moment that you said, that you heard that thought in the mind, I was lost, you are now found and you are clear. You are once again back in here now. Drop everything from there and just go on. Do whatever comes next. The key is to keep coming back, not to count how many times in a day you get lost.
yes. But for people that are still practicing presence, sometimes the external it's very significant in you being present or not, right? So let's say a situation A in which I'm doing something, okay, maybe I find myself again, but I see that I get lost often. And I know that if I, let's say, do something that maybe it's outside of my discipline scope, whatever, then that will not happen because You know, once you get lost once, it's easier to get lost again. And
the difficulty with that approach is that if you think that the way you stop yourself from getting lost is you take up something new because it focuses your attention, you will spend your life constantly chasing new experiences.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty with that. It's unreliable. That's why, from the advaita perspective, from the perspective of inquiry, the instruction is not find something new. The instruction is stop. Stop. Come to stillness. Using this tool, who am I? Or I am aware, noticing fully, embodying awareness. Okay, we're not talking about a mental experience here. I am aware and I look in my mind and I say I'm aware. We're talking about a full body experience. I am here. I am now. What is here now? I am. Who am I? What am I referring to when I say I? This is the process of standing still in this moment and moving quickly into clarity. I am here. I am now. Not looking for something to refocus the attention, because you've already noticed in your description that you can refocus the attention. You can do that with meditation. You can do that with mindfulness of breathing. You can do it with a new experience. You can do it in several different ways. You can refocus attention. But being consciousness is not focused attention. That's an aspect of mind. A useful one, but an aspect of mind. Being consciousness is a vast awareness, which is undisturbed by anything which moves through it. So this is the difference. If you go in the direction of increased focus, that will always break down. The Buddha himself said, if you follow the path of concentration, you will eventually need to follow the path of jhana, or the experience of vastness. Realization comes when those two paths are brought together, and one recognizes that both concentration and expansion are the same in some way. But that's not an intellectual or philosophical conversation. That's a pointer toward the experience of recognition or realization. So just understand that at certain moments, there may be the opportunity for you to quickly move away from forgetfulness into a more present awareness using a tool of concentration. But ultimately, as I said earlier, understand that spiritual life is the path of failure. This is also true of concentration practices, of meditation practices, of subject-object relationships. All of that is doomed to failure. So just accept that and know that there is something else. Open when you think you should close. Open. Come into awareness itself. I am here now. That which is aware is here now. And open. You are already in clarity. What more do you need? I understand that a few minutes ago, 2 minutes before that, 1 minute before that, 5 minutes before that, 10 minutes before that, you were in forgetfulness. I understand that. Doesn't count. Stop counting. I am aware. Here now. 1. I am aware. Here now. 2. I am aware. Here now. As a full body experience. 3.
So let's say chasing for a new experience in this case is a way to, let's say, a little bit of a shortcut to help yourself to be aware, but you should not rely on it. It should be maybe...
No, because ultimately it's not going to give you the experience that's going to come at the recognition of self, because at the recognition of self, there's nobody to chase anything. This is what the recognition of self is. So just be really clear. Use whatever tools you need to use in a moment, but understand that in the end, all the tools have to be put down, because you are playing in the realm of me, in the realm of mind, in the realm of mine. So whatever you are doing in that realm will give you a momentary relief from this conversation in the mind that says, I failed again. But ultimately, you want to be able to open so that there isn't anybody who's having a sense of success or failure. There is simply being, consciousness. And in being consciousness, all of this is that. I am that. This is the experience which you're going toward.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, keep going. In the way that you ask the question, it's clear there is a wisdom that which is already there. I don't think you're seeing it yet. I don't think you're recognizing that there is a wisdom which is guiding you. It's not your mind. So again, trust. Always we come back to this trust that there's only one way you are sitting here at the feet of Arunachala. You didn't do that. You are being called to that. So trust this wisdom which has brought you here and expand that into every situation in which you find yourself. You'll be fine. Very good. Very good. Continue your deep looking. The heart of wisdom is within you. I am only pointing the way. I cannot do it for you. But these questions today are a good indicator that you are looking in the right direction. So keep looking. Come to stillness. Be quiet. And I don't mean stop your thoughts or force yourself to stop thinking. I mean, look deeply enough to understand that there is a certain quiet, a certain stillness within you, even if it's only there for brief moments at a time. Keep returning to it, to that which is aware, here now. You are that. Hari Om Tat Sat.